Leslie Flint was a British medium and a renowned psychic in the 20th century and used direct voice mediumship. The following session took place on April the 11th, 1959, when a farmer named George Hopkins, originally from Sussex in England, came through. George Hopkins had died around 1900 while harvesting, and when he initially passed, had not realised that he was no longer alive. The following conversation took place with the assistance of a woman called Betty Greene, who asked Leslie Flint, who was channeling George Hopkins, a series of questions. She first asked him how he passed, and his response was, "Well, I had a stroke or seizure or heart attack or something of that sort." He said, "As a matter of fact, I was harvesting and felt a bit drowsy, a bit peculiar. I must have dozed off. But dear oh dear, I had such a shock. Then I woke up, as I thought, and the sun had gone down, and there was me, or what appeared to be me. I couldn't make it out at all. I was that puzzled and tried to shake myself to wake myself up. I thought, this is funny, I must be dreaming, and couldn't make head or tail of it. It never struck me at all that I was no longer alive. Anyway, I found myself walking along the road to the doctor's. I thought, well, perhaps he can help me. I knocked on the door, but nobody answered. I thought, well, I shouldn't have thought he would have been out because people were going through the surgery door. I saw one or two of my old cronies. They all sort of seemed to walk through me. No one seemed to make any comment about me. I stood there for a bit trying to work it out. Then I saw someone hurrying down the road like mad to the doctor. He rushed in, pushed past me, and everyone else, and the next moment heard them talking about me. I thought, what the hell's wrong? I'm here. I heard them say I was dead. The doctor went in his car up the road and I thought, I don't know about being dead. I can't be dead. I'm here. How the hell can I be dead? The next thing I saw was them picking up my body and bringing it back. They put it in the chapel. Oh dear, I thought, this is the last straw. I must be dead. George, now realising he must be a spirit, went to his minister, figuring he'll know what to do. So I went up to the vicarage and waited. I saw the vicar come in and sit at his desk. I noticed that nothing was solid. I sat in the chair, but I didn't feel any weight under me. I saw the vicar walk in. He walked right past me and went to his desk and started to write letters. I started talking to him, but he didn't take any notice. I thought, he's like the rest of them, and thought he would know something. So I tapped him on the shoulder. Once he turned around as if he thought someone was there. So I tapped him again. He didn't take any notice. Then he got up and sort of shook himself. And then I saw him shiver. It was quite a decent sort of morning, and could see no reason why he should have felt cold. Anyway, he didn't seem to realise that it was there at all, and thought, well, I'm not getting anywhere here. George then saw them carry his body down to the old churchyard in a box, and they buried him with his late wife Polly. It suddenly dawned on him about his wife, and he thought, well, that's funny. If I'm dead, I should be with her. Where is she? After the ceremony, I was walking behind them down the path. Then right in front of me, coming up towards me, was my wife. But not my wife as I had known her in the last few years of her life, but as I first knew her when she was a young woman. Oh, she looked beautiful, really beautiful. And with her, I could see one of my brothers who passed when he was about 17 or 18, a nice-looking boy who was fair-haired. They were laughing and joking and coming up towards me. My wife and brother made a proper fuss of me, saying how sorry they were that they were late. They said, we knew you hadn't been too well, and we had no idea you were coming as sudden as you were. We got the message, but were sorry we couldn't get here quicker. I thought, well, that's odd. How the hell do they get about? I knew how I'd got about, but as far as I was concerned, I seemed to be walking about, same as I did before, except that everything was much lighter. I didn't seem to have any heaviness of the body, and no more aches and pains like I used to have. They said I'd got to get sort of adjusted and settled. So I said, you talk about settling in. Where the deuce do we settle in? Nobody here seems to want to have anything to do with us, and nobody seems to take any notice. And they replied, oh, that's all right. Don't worry about them. I told them about the vicar. Oh, you don't want to go and see him, they said. He was the last one to go and see. He knows less than some other people. I then asked, but where do we go? We're going to take you to our home. Well, where's that? Oh, we can't tell you exactly where it is, they said, but we can take you there and you'll soon realise it's home all right. You'll recognise it. Well, how can I recognise it? I've never been there. Oh, yes, you have, many times when you've been asleep. As a matter of fact, you know it quite well. Oh, I started to think. I used to have some odd dreams once or twice. I remember dreaming about a very pretty place with a lovely garden and my old dog Rover was there. Well, he died many years before. I remembered I used to think I was just dreaming. No, well, that wasn't dreaming. That was you with us when you were asleep, when your body was asleep. When your body was asleep, your mind was free, and you could travel and be with us. Well, it sounds very nice, I must say, said George. Well, don't you realise that you're different? They said. Well, I said I felt different, yet I didn't feel old. I don't have the old aches and pains like I used to. Well, have you seen yourself? They said. No, well, I never thought of that. Well, come on, we'll show you. I thought, well, this is going to be interesting to see myself, and then I could have a look in the mirror. Oh no, they said, not in the mirror. So they took me to what appeared to be a very beautiful place with a lovely setting, lovely scenery and beautiful houses, more countrified than townified. They took me to one house in a beautiful field, and it was just the same little place I'd dreamed of, or thought I had dreamed about. And there I was in my dreams some years ago. I remember waking up in the early hours of the morning and remembering this, and thought, this is an odd dream. It was exactly the same. I then saw my old dog racing about and wagging his tail and jumping up and down. I opened the door and went in, and there was a congregation of about a dozen people I'd known. Another brother of mine and a sister, my wife's people. They were all there, pleased and welcomed me, and making a fuss of me. In fact, there was so much noise going on, chattering and talking, all at the same time, and the dog barking. It was a real homecoming. They had a nice spread of food for me. You'd be surprised. That struck me as odd. I thought, I shouldn't have thought they'd had cups of tea over here, and sat down and ate things. They said, oh yes, at first perhaps you don't expect it, but it's something you've been used to, and we like to make you feel at home. It helps you get settled down. Anyway, you're going to be all right. You've Polly and the dog and us. We'll keep in touch with you and come and see you now and again. Well, I suddenly realised I could see myself, not as I used to see myself in the mirror, but as myself for the first time. I said to everybody, it's so wonderful. I don't know what to say. I certainly don't know what to do. They said, don't say anything, and you don't do anything for a time. Just relax, enjoy yourself and a rest, and get over the shock of, well, passing over, as you call it. Well, I said, I don't understand it all. It's all so natural, all so real. Here you are, all the people I've loved, all the people that meant so much to me in my life, all here wanting to receive me and make me happy. And there's all those people down there you would have thought would have at least known something, particularly the vicar. I know I wasn't a churchgoer. I didn't go regularly, but he didn't seem to know anything. He didn't seem to be able to comfort anyone very much. Then he looked at them and said, what's wrong? Well, they said, you mustn't blame the poor old vicar. He's doing the best he can under perhaps difficult circumstances. But you see, they just haven't got the right end of the stick. The interviewer continued by asking George what interests him. Well, he replied, I'm very interested in cattle. They asked, you had cattle over there? Oh yes, and horses. I was always very fond of animals, and horses in particular. I love cattle, and they have cattle here. Oh yes, we have lovely pasture lands, lovely fields and animals, just the same as you do. Now, everyone lives near nature, and there's no killing. I have my garden, which I love very much. I have my cattle. I like to walk, and I like to ride a horse, which is a thing I didn't have much opportunity to do in life, even though I worked on the land. I never seemed to be able to do some things, like riding a horse. Walk in front of a horse, yes, but as to riding, well, very seldom. Betty Greene then asked, do you find the cattle, the animals, have got a higher degree of consciousness, the ones you're dealing with? Do they understand you? Well, I said, I would say definitely yes to that. Of course they have. And then again, I think when one is on Earth, one is inclined to underestimate the intelligence the cattle have got. After all, they have their feelings and emotions, and they're not an unintelligent lot of animals, you know. Of course, I know I should have thought it was unnecessary to eat meat, because there are so many other forms of food that one can live on. And after all, I think an animal has its right to life as much as a man. In fact, more so in many cases, I should think.